Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. So I know we've heard the conversation about how Disney fans of this generation will never know what it was truly like to experience a very different generation of Disney and have the chance to grow up in a generation that was prided by shows like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place. I get that. But I've often made the comparison about how I would have loved the chance to have grown up in your guys' generation, a generation that was very different, represented by power and dedication and a whole lot of heart. It represents everything that a true Disney fan should aspire to be. You guys have offered me so much inspiration to be a part of something special. And ever since becoming a part of the soundtrack of Descendants of Zombies and becoming everybody's voice when it comes to these franchises, it's been the most fun that I've ever had because it gave me a chance to meet all of you. It gave me a chance to experience a generation that was very different from the generation that I grew up in because I came from the Disney Renaissance era, which was a generation that Disney prided itself on for over 25 years. You know, I know it's one thing to experience crossover events because back in 2005, 2006, you would see all these shows like Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Sweet Life, and Wizards of Waverly Place coming together for this huge crossover event that would be 90 minutes long. And everybody would be very excited about it. But now you have events and such things happening like the Worlds Collide Tour and Camp Rock 3 to look forward to this summer. So you have Descendants 5 and not only that, but you have Camp Rock 3. And years ago, Disney was putting out Disney Channel movies every month. There was a new Disney Channel movie every month. Now they're spacing them out, which allows for a lot of hype, a lot of marketing strategies to be implemented. And because we have a lot of hype, more hype than ever, it gets people more excited and feeling more honored to be a part of an incredible generation. Because that's how I felt. So that's why I've often made the comparison between your guys' generation and my generation, because if I had to choose between those two generations, I would choose your guys' generation over the generation of the past because this generation is exemplified by power. This generation is proudly exemplified by strength that we see all the time in Kylie Cantrall and Liamani Segura, who are some of the strongest people I've ever seen in my life. And I've been so proud to talk about because they are exemplifying strength, they are exemplifying power. Kylie Cantrall is referring to this new era of her career as her power era, and I found time in supporting that. And I really aspired to be just like them because in all honesty, guys, they really inspired me to become a better person and to be kinder to people that I surround myself with. Now, I was always a kind person, but being kind to everybody, I think, is proudly represented and exemplified through these franchises. And I think a lot of us have seen a lot of incentive from the images of these characters. And I know how it's all about how Disney wants you to be happy-go-lucky and seem like everything is perfect in your own little world. I get that, but I think that this is more than just a world. This is a universe and never a galaxy. It's something far much bigger and far much greater than Disney itself has even given the Descendants of Zombies franchises for having been, because we've obviously been a part of something special, been considered a part of something special for forever, and I've felt more than honored to be a part of that and to have experienced this with you for what it was worth. And that's why you guys hear me say thank you all the time on these videos, because you allowed me to be a part of this universe. You allowed me to be a part of something so incredible, something I will never ever forget, because I didn't really have a whole lot going my way, and then all of a sudden Descendants of Zombies kind of just happens for me because you guys knew I was a YouTuber and you came my way. You were knocking on my door every year on Halloween saying, "Hey, Jonathan Clarke, quit being a loser, create Descendants of Zombies videos for us." And then you would come back the next year if I didn't create the channel, knock on my door again and say, "Hey, Jonathan Clarke, we're still waiting on those incredible Descendants of Zombies videos, that incredible channel that you're destined to create." And I eventually said, all right, and then I created the channel, and then thousands of people subscribed here and made me their voice of Descendants of Zombies because I've shown so much dedication and heart to the franchise, just like all of you. And you may not think you're showing an incredible amount of dedication and heart to this, but you guys really are. That's why you picked out all these beautiful outfits to wear at the Worlds Collide Tour, and you were so proud to show them off in videos that you created yourself for YouTube. That's why you were so proud to showcase your passion for Descendants of Zombies merch and the dolls that come with being a fan, because I know what it's like to be just like you and have that beautiful outfit that you wear to a Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour and be so proud to show it off. I know what it's like to have an entire collection of Descendants of Zombies dolls. Well, in my case, it was pro wrestling action figures or Gargoyles action figures or Aladdin and Mickey Mouse merchandise, which I was always a huge fan of. And a lot of that had to do with my mom and my grandmother always going out when I was probably, 9 years old, buying me all this Mickey Mouse merch, and I still have it proudly on display on my YouTube channel because they are memories that I created with my family. My mom and my grandmother had a huge role in all this Mickey Mouse stuff, and my sister did too, because the thing is, these characters will always, no matter who you are, will hold a special place in your heart for years to come. And I think I've always believed that no matter how much criticism Disney princesses have received often enough, Disney princesses have obviously held a very special place in the hearts of many people out there. I don't care who you are. You all have a favorite Disney princess, and that's why you're here. You all have a favorite character from Descendants of Zombies that you proudly represented, that you couldn't help but feel inspired by. And that's what makes this so lovely and so wonderful to be a part of. You know, just yesterday, I saw everybody's passion for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. People were so excited to get a free poster. So many people were so excited to get their Yoshi popcorn bucket. And, you know, it brought me back to when I was a fan of Super Mario ever since 1986, because that was the year that Super Mario first premiered on the Nintendo Entertainment System. It premiered in October of 1986. And Mario's come such a long way because it attracts more people than ever before. People are such huge fans of Yoshi. People have plush Yoshis in the room all the time, all this incredible Mario merch. It's really cool. And the love and support that you guys have for things. The thing that's intrigued me about everybody is the love and support that you have for everybody who's involved in these franchises, such as Descendants of Zombies, Super Mario, SpongeBob SquarePants, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really do love being a part of this generation because you guys are what's allowed me to be a part of this generation, because you are the ones who make the choices. You are the ones who have all the power. So you accept us into these niches, which oftentimes are very difficult to be accepted within. I had no idea that I would have been accepted with so much warmth and so much kindness in this franchise. And that's what's made this so incredible and truly unforgettable for me, is just being accepted within this niche, because it's very difficult sometimes to kind of both fall into a niche and to be accepted by that niche. I feel as if I've fallen down this rabbit hole and I've met all these incredible characters from franchises such as Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella for just how beautifully these stories were told and how beautiful these stories were represented. And to be honest with you guys, I've never wanted to leave. I've never wanted these stories to be over. I've wanted to share my story with you. I've wanted to have the chance to hear your stories from your perspective, because everybody has a different version of this. But no matter how many different versions we've heard of this story, we've all loved it, and we've fallen more in love with it. Even families, even parents now have fallen in love with the Descendants of Zombies franchises, just to see the reactions on their children's faces when the Worlds Collide tour happens for the first time ever, and they take them to the first Descendants of Zombies event. That's what makes this so special. But still, no, you have these idiots on YouTube who are reviewing it in ways that it should never be reviewed to begin with. I think that if you're going to talk about the Worlds Collide tour, the one thing you've got to realize is that there are people out there who love this with all of their hearts, who see something special in these characters. That's what allows you to create relatable content. That's what allows you to steal the hearts of and win the hearts of every fan of Descendants of Zombies. I may have my room full of Mickey Mouse merch, but I proudly put my passion on display for Disney's characters, for not only the characters themselves, but their stories, about how Hercules had this issue with this guy named Hades, and then from out of nowhere he picks Mount Olympus up over his head and throws it into outer space to defeat Hades and win the heart of Megara. Or the story of Ariel and Eric, how Ariel just wanted to be a human and experience the human world for the first time ever, to be a part of our world, eventually allowing herself to find true love. She may have had to sacrifice her voice and everything that comes with it to achieve that goal, but she did eventually find true love, no matter what the sacrifices were that she had to make. And you know something? That's what makes these stories so beautiful. Aurora may have been a princess who was asleep for over 45 minutes of the 75-minute production, but when she finally awoke after having pricked her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, that's what made that story so magical. I know that Sleeping Beauty may have received its fair share of criticism. Lord knows it did back in 1958, because that's all people had to do with their time, was criticize these franchises. But again, that's what made us so acceptant of these franchises, because while people chose to criticize them for their plot and their characters and the character schemes, the thing is, that's what gave us a greater appreciation and made us fall in love with it. And that's what's making us fall in love with the Descendants of Zombies behind the scenes, is because everybody has a different emotion that they want to express, that they want to let the world know about. And that's what makes these franchises so beautiful and so wonderful to be a part of. I've had the time of my life broadcasting my thoughts about Descendants of Zombies for the world to see and hear. I never imagined that thousands of people would have subscribed here and chosen this YouTube channel for my passions for things like Super Mario, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, video games, Descendants of Zombies, and all things Disney, but it happened. And I chose these franchises and made the decision to dedicate the rest of my life to you guys, because who better to entertain? Who better to put the smiles on the faces of than all of you? And I've loved it. And if I'm going to encourage anything at all, I'm going to encourage and support these power eras of Kylie and Freya and Malia, because I think that Malia Baker is also a really beautiful person who deserves more credit than she's ever been given. You know, it doesn't take a degree in rocket science to figure out why everybody loves Descendants of Zombies. If you haven't figured it out, where have you been all this time? Because it's been an incredible decade. And I think that Disney Plus allows us the opportunity to really go back and reintroduce ourselves, the fans of this new generation, which I've loved being a part of, mind you. It really presents us with a chance to go back and familiarize ourselves with these characters and how special of a place they have gone on to hold in all of our hearts, because they really have. The stories of Red and Chloe are stories that I couldn't help but feel captivated by, to feel a part of, to have the chance to feel a part of something so special and so incredible. And I've loved every moment of it. You know, just to see live actions like Cinderella and Tangle eventually come to life. We're going to be seeing Tangle come to life over the next couple of years with Milo Manheim, who you guys are a huge fan of. You know, I wish I had as many fans as Milo Manheim did out there in this world. You know, somewhere deep within my heart, I like to believe that I do, but, you know, I could only wish to have as many fans as what Milo Manheim does, but it doesn't take a degree in rocket science, again, to figure out why everybody loves him so much, because he's so relatable. And he's so friendly. You know, years ago, I couldn't stand guys on Disney Channel because of how arrogant they were. People like Ross Lynch, people like Joe Jonas were very arrogant. I can't deny that. But this new generation of Disney stars are beautiful, and I can't help but, you know, support them with so much love and support. I think that Milo Manheim's heart has always been in the right place. I think that Malachi Burton's heart has also been in the right place for how supportive he's been of Freya Sky, and I think we can really find time in appreciating that. We can find time in saying something nice about the friendships of Freya and Malachi, and the friendships that we've seen in the past of Meg and Milo, because they've been there every step of the way for each other. And that's what's so miraculous about this. That's what makes this so special. That's what takes our breath away every single time, just as fast as you can snap your fingers, because, you know, even with how appreciative we were of Meg and Milo's story and their friendship, we can be just as appreciative of the story of Freya and Malachi and what we're setting ourselves up to be a part of, which is going to be something really special, which will involve mermaids and pirates and sirens and witches and everything else thrown in there. I'm the only guy seemingly who's crazy enough to voluntarily jump inside of a vortex just to come back and tell you guys what I discovered and what's within this vortex. I know that vortexes are often associated with the end of time and doom, but that's what makes it so fun, you know, being a part of the interpenetrable doom and you know, bringing stories like this to life and giving people more of a chance to believe in this. And you're probably saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, thank you so much for creating so many cool, so many wonderful videos about Descendants of Zombies. We love you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, because I perceive this as an honor. My favorite character, for those of you who have been subscribed here for a very long time, you obviously know, has been Ruby Rose Turner for a very long time. I've always never been afraid to let the world know how I truly feel about Descendants of Zombies and all these wonderful characters, for how strong they are, which is truly admirable. And I've often encouraged all of you that you should never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel, because you only have so many limited chances to really let the world know how you do truly feel. And I have this to say to all of you: if you are a fan of Descendants of Zombies, you should truly never be afraid to let the world know how you truly feel about Descendants of Zombies and how you've been left feeling inspired by these beautiful stories, how you've collected all the Descendants of Zombies merch and the dolls that come with being a fan. I think that's so cool. I think that's so cool how you have your room decorated with Descendants of Zombies posters and all the dolls you've collected, which you've sacrificed a great deal to have. And I hope it's something that you hold very close to your heart, because I've never wanted to take away someone's hopes and dreams with these franchises. I've just wanted to be a part of it, and I had the chance. It may have taken some time, but I had the chance to be a part of it because of how I could tell these stories and how I could bring every video I had the honor to record, because that's what this has been for me, is an honor, to life. Because that's what every content creator should strive to do, is bring their videos to life. Because if you can't bring your videos to life, then you've really got to rethink how you feel about these franchises. Because you got to realize that there is somebody out there watching this video who loves Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart. So because they love it with all of their heart, you too, as the creator, have to love it as much with your heart. And I know there are a lot of people who do these reaction videos and these reviews with all this content that they, incorporate footage with. And it takes a great deal to sit down and tell people how you truly think about Descendants of Zombies, how you truly feel, how Descendants of Zombies makes you feel. And until somebody does that, which nobody has ever been able to do for you guys, because it's pretty much just 30-second teaser trailers and reviews that are pretty much incorporating AI, until somebody can do that for you, then you yourself will never have the greater appreciation for Descendants of Zombies. But when somebody does that, and is able to do that in every video that they create, while supporting your guys' generation of being a Disney fan, because your generation of being a Disney fan is obviously so cool, a lot cooler than mine, because years ago we had this watered-down version of Phineas and Ferb. A lot of shows that never really made a whole lot of sense. I mean, what was Cory in the House? I could never make sense of that. I think Cory had the President of the United States at one point or another on the show. I can't really remember, but a lot of shows in that generation really never made sense. Everything about this generation makes perfect sense. And people feel stronger because of this generation. People feel more encouraged than ever before. And that's why I'm so proud to be a voice of Descendants of Zombies and to be a part of such an incredible journey that I've been on for what feels like forever. I can go on and on and on and on for hours about how beautiful I think Liamani Segura is and how far she is yet to come, because the most incredible thing about her journey is we are really setting ourselves up to be a part of something so special. And I'm so excited to be a part of it with all of you. Because the thing is, being a part of it with so many incredible fans who have forever been loyal, who have forever been dedicated to this franchise, it's what makes what I do for 25 years worth it every single time. Because as many of you know, I've been around for a very long time. I've been on YouTube ever since YouTube first began. And let me tell you, back in 2005, when you had that huge web marker down in the left-hand corner of your videos could only be 10 minutes, you couldn't go live, you couldn't go 4K. It was really difficult. And I had no idea back in 2005, April 23rd of that year, how I would ever do it. But I've been the only one crazy enough to do this gig for that long. And I've fallen into this niche. I've seemingly fallen down through a rabbit hole. And I've loved every single moment of it because I got to share in those moments with all of you. And if we can fall down a rabbit hole, keep on falling down a rabbit hole, go do, and go, and fall down through a rabbit hole 1,000 times, then I will do that 1,000 times over. And I will support Kylie Cantrall to the death, because I know 10 million people out there love her so much. While everybody has their critics, because as I've said many times, everybody's a critic. We can do something about that, and we can give Kylie Cantrall a reason to actually YouTube videos of herself again, to hear what people are saying about her, because in 15 million critics, there's always that one person who loves her just as much as what you do. And there's always that one person out there that will forever smash your subscribe button and hit your like button 1,000 times over, unlike your video, and like it again, unlike your video, and like it again, because they love Descendants of Zombies and they realize that you love Descendants of Zombies just as much. And that's what makes it so worth it for me. That's what's always made this so special for me. Because I had the honor of being considered a voice for the voiceless. I had an honor of being the voice of Descendants of Zombies, becoming a part of all of your lives and talking about Descendants of Zombies for what it was worth. And having thousands of people subscribe here. Because if you're going to say anything at all about Kylie Cantrall, if you're going to say anything at all about Freya Sky, say something nice. Give people something to believe in. Make these new characters feel more encouraged to introduce themselves to you for the very first time ever as a part of this franchise. Looking ahead to the summer of 2026, we not only have Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland to look forward to, we have Camp Rock 3 and a lot to look forward to in the very near future. And it's a future that I'm really excited to be a part of. Never worry about the generation of the past. Focus on what matters to you, which is obviously this generation, and the stars who are stronger than ever, which is something I admire so much. And we can give them even more strength and even more inspiration than perhaps anyone ever has. and we can do that together. Thank you so much for having chosen this YouTube channel time and time again as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel. It has forever and always been my honor to record these videos each and every single night. Having said that, I will return just as the sun sets tonight with a new final video for you guys on Descendants of Zombies before we close this thing out today. And I invite you to join me for that conversation because it will be a special one. Thank you so much for allowing me the chance to be a part of all of your lives and to have created so many wonderful memories for so many wonderful people who love Descendants of Zombies. Keep on believing in Descendants of Zombies with all of your heart, because this future we are setting ourselves up to be a part of is going to be a good one, and I'm so excited to be a part of it with all of you. Thank you so much for holding a very special place in your hearts for Descendants of Zombies for a very long time, and as always, thank you so much for having watched this video.